What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. That's it. Today is all about building up the 131 crate motor with all of our Go Fast goodies we got here. Cam plate, oil pump, roller rocker arms, Cyclorama CR512 cam. These are bearings, which I'm not going to use because they're brand new in there. Cam chain tensioners from S&S, the S&S lifter blocks, the Fuel Moto 6.3 gram injectors are going into this motor. And what we're going to do is here in the OR, we're going to tear this down and we are going to make an insane stage 4 131 Harley-Davidson engine, even better than what is already here. That's right, we're going to make it better, we're going to make it faster, and Spaceball is going to be on its way to going to ludicrous speed. That's right, Project Spaceball. As you can see, the motor is still in it. But be not afraid. When I come back from Daytona, which will be the day you're watching this video, I will be on my way back from Daytona. That following week, we will be going live on this motor swap. That's right. I don't know if you could tell I'm a little bit excited. But some of this gloss black is like the lower rocker boxes. The cam cover are not going to stay gloss black. The upper rocker box is not staying gloss black. This is going matte black, chrome, matte black, chrome. Gold, matte black, gold, matte black, gold, matte black on both heads. So it's going to look different. It's going to look better. So what we have here is all these bolts going around our upper rocker box have to come off on both heads. I'm going to get that done. And then we're going to expose our rocker arms, which we have to take off. And the crate case breathers we've got to take off. The lower rocker box we have to take off. So once all that's off, we can rock and roll and getting this cam out. This cam cover's got to come off, of course. These have to come off. And it's so much easier with it on the engine stand than in the frame, because on this motor, getting to this bolt and this bolt and this bolt with the frame backbone going up over this, it's actually a lot harder. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder to get done. All right, guys, let me get that going and we'll dig into it together. All right, guys, here we are. I got the upper rocker boxes off, and as you can see what it looks like up close and personal. Here's your valve springs right here. These are your rocker arms. These are getting replaced, these rocker arms, because if you look, the oil squirters right here squirt the oil down and they drip right on top of the valves. The ones from S&S, when I put them on, I'll show you, they actually have oil squirters in the side that squirt to the top here and help lubricate the valve and the rocker arm and everything. So, you know, what we need to do now is get these off, and the right way to do that would be to rotate the engine, get it to top dead center on both. Then you would, you know, loosen one, keep back and forth. But if you take your time and go slow from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other, and slowly release that pressure, you could do it without doing that. I don't recommend doing that if you haven't done that before or you have no idea what's going on. Now, these lower rocker box covers, I'm going to send them out for powder coat, because I'm going to make these green and these green and these green for my Road Glide to go with the paint. So I got a lot of powder coating I got to do, and we're going to strip this down. All right, let me get these rocker arms off. We'll get these breathers out. Now these breathers are 3/16 here and here. We'll pop them off, and then we'll pop these off, And then with that, the push rods will come right out, and the push rod tubes will come right out. Then we have the tappet covers, the anti-rotational cuffs we have to take off. And then I'm going to lift the lifters out of the way. I'm not going to remove them. And then we'll take this off. All right, let me get this done, and we'll work together as always. All right, guys, I got the cam cover off. The push rod tubes are out. Tappet blocks are off. Our tappet covers are off. Now we have these plastic anti-rotational cuffs that have to come off. And here's the caution. These have been known, these bolts here have been known to snap. And if you snap them, it's not the end of the world. But I'm going to show you a way that I do it that hopefully they don't snap. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but hopefully not. What I do is I put even pressure and I go slow with it. And once I know it's turning, then I will go at it. Now, if these get really tight on you and they having a hard time coming off, do not force them. What you want to do at that point is get a heat gun and heat up right inside of here on both sides. What that will do is that will expand the metal so you could take these bolts out. And it's not because they're cross-threaded or they were put in Gorilla Tight. It's actually the fact that they use too much Loctite on these from the factory, from Harley-Davidson. And that's what caused them to snap. Even though, you know, they snap flush, don't panic. You don't have to drill and tap them out. If you have access to a MIG welder, and I don't care if it's a Harbor Freight welder or a really good Miller MIG welder, you could weld a nut to the broken stud bolt, or that's now a stud in there, and then you can, at that point, remove the bolt by welding a nut to it. So it's one tappet cuff removed, and here's our lifters. So what I'm going to do here is, after I get these removed, I have a new tool that I got. That's right, I got a new tool. I love it when I get new tools. All right, because these are new lifters, I'm not going to reuse them. Check these out, guys. These are actually made for lifting up your lifters. So when they're down, you lift up on them, and that's, I guess, what the tappet cuffs on. So why don't we do that? Why don't we put these tappet cuffs on from S&S? And here they are. Aren't they nice? Now, I always say you got to be, you know, take your time putting this stuff together. And I'm going to show you what I mean. You have to line up the flat spots. There is a, oh, to see they're marked. This one's R. So this one's for the rear. So you got to line up the flat spots, and they'll sit in there just like that. So they're marked front and rear. Here we go. And if you notice, there's a little wiggle room and all that. And when you tighten them down, it cranks this way. So what I like to do is put a 2000s feeler gauge inside of here. When I tighten it down, then this way we don't have to worry about it. So they give you all new bolts and new gaskets to put in there. So why don't we, let me get the torque spec for this. And the feeler gauge in there, we'll torque them down and pick up from there. Okay, I got a feeler gauge in there. It's 2000s. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the bolts in. I'm going to run them in with the wrench, especially this one. Get as tight as I can be. These are 90 to 120 inch-pounds. So the difference of that between 90 and 120 is 30. So half of that 30 is 15. So I'm going to take that 15 and add it to the 90 which brings me to 105 inch-pounds of torque. And that's the torque for these anti-rotational cuffs, whether they're the S&S or factory or fueling or what other brand you want to use. So I ran it snug. So now I'm going to take my torque wrench. I already preset it. And there you have it. And I'll pull this out. Now what I'm going to do is take my lifty little magnets. I'm going to see if I can pull them up. And they're real tight. That one works out good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this one free. Move it. There you go. Now let's torque it to where it is, where it sits. All right, so let's check it. Okay, that moves, and that moves. It falls under its own weight. You know, letting gravity set the rotation of the lifters. That's perfect. And that's what you want to see when you do this. So again, I'm going to take my feeler gauge. When I tighten this up, it's going to want to jerk this way. So I'm going to put that between the lifter and this anti-rotational cuff. And I'm going to put it in, you know, snug it up as much as I can. And there's a reason why I'm doing it this way instead of pulling them out and all that. Is because once I get these Tappet covers on, then I could use those to hold the lifters up so I don't have to pull the lifters out. Okay. That one's torqued 105 inch-pounds. Pull that out. Now we'll take our magnets again. Too tight. That one's not. See how tight that is? I got to push it in with my hand. That's what you don't want. So we'll just take it and shake it around a little bit. Now we'll snug that up and see how that goes. Okay. Letting gravity tell me that there is literally little to no drag on these Tappet cuffs. And that's something you want. All right, so now that we're here, we're going to take our new gaskets. Even though these were new gaskets, because it's a brand new motor, never run as far as I know. We're going to put those on, and now we're going to put on our shiny new. Look at that. I like that. What do you guys think of that? Tell me what you think. I really want to hear what you guys think about that. The gold. What do you think of the gold? I think it goes well with the chain, the bronze on the wheels. Remember, this is a lowrider ST. And all these bolts come with fresh Loctite on them. That's why you don't see me putting Loctite on these, because it already came with the Loctite. So I come through the push rod tube. Oops. Come through the push rod tube. And I run these in. Again, I just run them in to snug them up because there's a torque for these. And I'll let you know what that torque is. I just briefly looked at it, but I can definitely let you know exactly what it is. And then we could go from there. Because I'm sure everybody wants to know what the torque is. I know I do. So we're already making this motor better, or at least look better. I know there's a lot of guys out there that love the chrome, and they're very big on having the chrome, and they like having it, and I get it, you know, and I'm with you on that. But for me, you know, I like the black too. And I'd prefer the black over the chrome any day of the week. You know, chrome looks good on different styles of bikes, like the Trollo bikes they look good on. But that's just my opinion. You know, that's the beauty part about, you know, having your own bike and doing what you want. You can make it look any way you want it to look and run any way you want it to run. What do you guys think? Am I overthinking this? Am I, you tell me. All right from the book, guys. 132 to 156. So that's a 24 difference in torque. So half of that would be 12. So 132 and 12 brings it to 142 inch-pounds. And that's what I'm going to torque these two. And why is this sticking? Give me a hard time. No worries. I'll get it. I'll get it good. All right, so 124 inch-pounds for these. What is the major malfunction? All right, let me wrestle with this. We'll get back to it. Okay, guys, this is where we're at. I removed the cam chain tensioner, which was from here to here. These are two T27 nuts. This is a 9/16, and that's a 1/2 inch. You have to line up your timing marks, and there's a tool that you put in here to hold your gears, and you can loosen and torque your bolts as need be. That's where we are now. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All right, so we're ready to pull the cam chest apart. So we'll take the cam chain to the pinion shaft off. One assembly, just remove it, put it to the side. There is a shim here. It's usually not as easy to get on and off while it's there. But back to our magnets. Remember I was telling you about these magnets? All right, so these go inside of here. And they will grab the lifters and they will hold the lifters up for you. Okay, so I got these hidden here. These actually hold the lifters up. So kind of hard to see them now, but they will hold the lifters up out of the way so we can pull the camshaft out and do what we have to do without removing the lifters, which I always think is a good thing. And I lost one, so you got to be careful that when you pull them up, that they stay on the magnet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shine a little light in there. Okay, those two are up. These two are up. I'm going to bring these up as much as I can. Just so I have plenty of lobe clearance pulling out the camshaft. All right, so what's next? Our cam plate and our oil pump. And, these are all 3/16. 2, 3. These for the oil pump. And the ones around the perimeter are for the cam plate. And once that cam plate and oil pump is out, then we could go ahead and start putting all the goodness into this. All the happy go fast parts, and the billet aluminum cam plate, the billet aluminum oil pump from both from S&S. And I don't know, here's my complaint, guys. And go ahead, call me a complaint baby, but This is a Screaming Eagle engine. Screaming Eagle. Its badge, Screaming Eagle, right on the head. Why don't they put the Screaming Eagle cam plate and oil pump in here? You know, I understand Harley wants to save money because, you know, apparently they need it more than we do. But doesn't that make sense that if you buy a Screaming Eagle engine, everything you get in that engine should be Screaming Eagle? I'm just saying. I'm throwing that out there. All right, we're going to put these in the pile of we're not going to reuse. Just like our cam chain tensioner, the hydraulic cam chain tensioner, brand new, never used, 0 mileage on it, but we're going to save that because I never know when I might need an M8 cam chain tensioner. All right, so there we go. And we're making a mess. Oh, we just lost a lifter. That's all right. We can push it right back up in there. There we go. And we're going to compare this cam to the cam that I selected. All right. Do not use. Oh, boy. And here it comes. Open up the floodgates. Do not use. Well, we are going to reuse this seal. Hopefully we get it out without damaging it. Because we're going to put that on the back of the new oil pump. And that's nice that that O-ring came out with the oil pump. That's going to go in the do not reuse aisle or pile. All right, so first things first. Let's look at our camshaft. Let's compare our camshafts. All right, everybody. Here is the Screaming Eagle 517 cam. All right, let's look at this. So here you have your duration and your lift. All right, so we're going to compare that to our Cyclorama 512 cam. Look at that difference. Actually, I'm going to put these up. We're going to move the camera, and then this way you guys can look at them side by side and tell me, if this was your engine, which cam would you rather have? Okay, guys. Screaming Eagle 517 cam. Cyclorama 512 cam. Look at the duration here. That's how long that valve stays open compared to the duration here. I think the choice is simple. I would want the Cyclorama 512 over any of them. You tell me, what do you think? And as always, I'm making such a mess here on my lift. That's why I put the cardboard down. We're going to put some break-in oil on here. Can never use too much. So we'll put our camshaft in. Just like that. Look at that. Oh boy. That's the last time, hopefully, I ever see that camshaft. So, I'm going to wrap up this other one. So if anybody's interested in the Screaming Eagle 512 cam or the Screaming Eagle 5.1 injectors, hey, let me know. I'll sell them to you. All right. Now we get to the can plate and oil pump. Hey, first box I open is the oil pump, which is awesome. All right, I can take the Screaming Eagle, the stock oil pump, and put that away. because that's not going to be... Yeah, so if you guys... This is a brand new oil pump. So if anybody needs a brand new oil pump, it's Harley-Davidson, let me know. Or a cam plate. Let me know. I have them. They are available. Now some of them. All right. Get the zip tie up off the oil pump. All right, everybody. So, S&S is always graceful to give you everything you need to do this job. And we're gonna, you know, use everything that they gave us, the new bolts, the new O-rings. They give you 2 O-rings. Here's one O-ring. Yes, I know it's a new O-ring, brand new, never been used. Well, guess what? This was never, that'll never get used, to go right in the garbage. This is another new O-ring. The O-ring that was on the pump, this was never used either. And guess what? It's not going to get used. All right, now take apart the pump so I can put it together in stages. Now, what I always like to do is put the break-in oil in here. And you can never use too much. Gotta create a dam because I'm getting oil all over the place. But that's all right. Hey, what do you guys think so far? Having a brand new motor on the operating table with 0 miles on it getting torn into. You tell me what you think. All right. You know this is in, your oil pump's in all the way when you have this here flush. And you'll feel it pop into place. All right, so now what we got to do is lube up our brass bushings. Now, I always said it, you know, S&S puts a brass bushing where, you know, Screaming Eagles don't. That's aluminum on aluminum or aluminum on steel. Same thing with fueling. Nothing against fueling, guys. Don't get me wrong. Fueling makes a phenomenal product. I just like having the brass bushings that I could service on this. So, and I'm going to put a little bit in here where the oil pump rides. A little bit here where the camshaft rides. Oh, I had them backwards. Oil pump. This is the oil pump. That's the camshaft. So, here we go. Let's put this in. Look at that. And then our camshaft spacer. Bada bing! Bada boom! All right. I think we're looking much, much better. What do you guys think? Wouldn't you agree? Think this motor is going to be doing a whole lot better than what was in there. All right. You know, like I said, S&S always gives you everything you need. So they give you new oil pump hardware, which is the 4 long Allen bolts and 4 washers. And we're going to put them in, but we're not going to tighten them completely. We're going to make them snug because we have to center the oil pump. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'll show you. All right, so we're gonna just run them in just a little bit, you know. And what's nice with S&S, they'll tell you torque signals A, B, C, D. And these are 90 to 120 inch-pounds as well. I like to put a little Loctite on these, and I'm going to do that. And we're going to tighten up the cam plate, rotate the engine around, and then we will tighten up the oil pump. This is the only thing S&S doesn't give you is the Loctite. So we'll put the Loctite on the threads. All right, so that's one. You know, we're just going to start them. And then we'll go down to 2. Then up to 3. Following the torque sequence, which is definitely marked on your cam plate. If you have any questions or comments on what I'm doing here, let me know. And I'll see if I can answer them. Leave me a comment down below. All right, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to go back with the torque wrench on that as well when we're done. So let me rotate this engine around 2 full revolutions so we can center the oil pump. All right. What makes this easy to rotate this engine around, everyone, is that I have taken the spark plugs out of the outboard side, and I took my old compensator and I'm using that. Normally I would have the bike up on 6th gear and I'd use the tire to rotate, and that should be it. All right, so that should have centered the oil pump. So I'm going to snug these up. A, B, C, D. All right, so what I'm going to do is, now that it's snug, I'm actually going to take one out, put a little Loctite on it. Even though it doesn't call for it, I don't want these coming out on me. And I'm sure you don't blame me. Oh, who's that bothering me? You know, Loctite is your friend, always. Especially in places where parts rotate. And if they bolts come out, could do a lot of harm to your engine. And this is too expensive an engine to take that chance with, or actually any engine. So our oil pump is centered. Now we got to torque the cam plate, torque the oil pump, and these are 90 to 120 inch-pounds. So I'm going to torque them to 105. I just have to find my adapter. There it is. Wrong adapter. All right, 105 inch-pounds. There it is. All right, so starting on our sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I always like to go around again, make sure it's all seated, everything's flush. All right, now what we're going to do is the oil pump. So going in sequence. A, B, C, D, and we're going to bring this to 110 inch-pounds. All right. No, I'm not going for the click. I'm going by feel. So you never want to go for the click when you do that, because it's 100 and... What's up, everybody? I'm back from my break, but while I was on break, I got excited. I put the push rod tubes in with the push rods, and I got the cam gear and pinion gear torqued with the chain on, rotated around. Now I'm ready to do our cam chain tensioner, which is, you know, these are a T27. And the way I like to do these is I'll start on the bottom. I put a little blue Loctite on them, on these screws, because it's important. You don't want these screws coming out on you while the motor's running, creating all sorts of havoc on inside your motor. Whew. I'm dropping my screws here. So I start on the bottom, and I push this in to pick up the tension. Now this is hydraulic, so there's no oil behind it yet pushing it, but that's okay. So we'll run this in. You know, they give you new screws with the cam chain tensioner, and we will torque them down to 105 inch-pounds, like just about everything else on this. And then once we're done with this, then we can button up our cam chest. Once the cam chest is buttoned up, then we can work on our lower rocker boxes and our rocker arms. And the reason why I didn't do that, because I wanted to show you how the lower rocker box gaskets go on to your lower rocker boxes, because it's not a normal gasket, they're O-ring gasket. All right, so that's 100. That should be 110. Perfect. All right, now what I like to do is I will take our new gasket, put it on the cover. Now I am not reusing the cover that came off of this. I am reusing the cover off the Lowrider S. Now if you remember why, I wish GoPro would make batteries that last longer. All right, I got this all buttoned up. I don't know what you saw, so we're gonna do this all over again. Got this all buttoned up. Cam chain tensioners in there, that's new from S&S. Cam plate oil pumps in there, new. The cyclorama cams in there. I installed my push rod tubes and my push rods. So now we're getting ready to get up top here, and we're gonna start doing the roller rocker arms, the lower rocker box covers. But I want to show you the lower rocker box cover gaskets, because they're a little different than a regular gasket. They're actually an O-ring. So what do you guys think? What do you think about this so far? Are you enjoying it? Are you not? All right, here we go. Let's bring this down so you can see. It's an actual O-ring that sits inside a groove on the bottom of your lower rocker box. And you can press it into place. I highly recommend it, because if you don't, it's going to fall out on you. It drives you crazy, which I'm sure nobody here wants to happen. I don't want to be driven crazy. So I'm just excited and happy that Project Spaceball has got its new motor. This was ordered on December 24th. That's right, Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to me from me. It was ordered Christmas Eve right before the dealership closed. And why is that important? because that explains the lead time, why it took so long for it to get here. Because the Milwaukee Powertrain Operations Plant is closed for the week between Christmas and New Year's. So by the time Harley-Davidson Milwaukee received my order, it was already the New Year. And the 6 to 8 week lead time, this falls under at 7 weeks. So it really didn't take that much longer. But here it is. All right. Actually, it was, oh, sorry, guys. Trying to work one-handed here again. All right, so as you can see, this just doesn't fit right away. You have to, you know, do a little dance, make a little love, have fun tonight, and then it sits right in there just like that. Look at that. Oh my God, that looks so good. That looks so good. Just like, oh, let me put the upper on, and then we can take a look at it, of what it's going to look like. I know I've done a couple sneak peeks in the past, but oh yeah, guys, what do you think? I like this better than the gloss black that it was in. What do you think? I think it's phenomenal. All right, guys, let's get into it with the I'll do the other lower rocker box cover, and I'll torque it down, torque this one down, and then we'll get into what we've been waiting for, the roller rocker arms. So stand by. Okay, guys, let's talk about our rocker arms here. These are the factory rocker arms that you find on all your M8s, and on your toy cams, there's only one finger coming off of it. But since we have 2 valves per cylinder, you're going to have 2 arms to open and close the valves. And those oil squirters I mentioned earlier, you could see them right in here. And if you look here, there's these little pads right there that these are the ones that push up and down on your valves. Now, what's the difference? Well, this is cast. This here is a little bit better cast. They both have brass bushings on the inside. And when I was talking about the oil squirters, here's these oil squirters here that squirt directly to the top of the valves. And these are the roller part. This is what makes these a roller rocker arm. These little metal pieces here will roll. So where these here will get worn out, hammering down, you know, pushing up and down on those valves all the time, where these here will roll, and they will last a lot longer and work better at higher RPM and higher torque values. All right, so put these in. We got to put a little assembly lube in here, and it's always good to put some assembly lube. And when you're assembling metal on metal parts, even though those are a bushing, this is the shaft for the rocker arm. We're going to put a little assembly lube on that, and then we're going to lube this whole thing up. All right, and now we're going to install this right in here, just like that. And a lot of assembly lube will come out with it, but that's okay because there's assembly lube on the inside. You could feel it in there. So now we're ready to install this. All right, so I'm going to try and bring you with me. We're going to work together. I'm going to do this one-handed. So here we go. This here sits right up in here just like this. And you're going to have to, you know, line things up, make sure they go in. And I didn't rotate this motor. And I didn't do it on purpose because I wanted to show you that you can do this without rotating the motor if you know what you're doing and you take your time. So I got this one already done. I got the other head already done. And it's got some greasy fingerprints on there. Okay. Now, this is 24 to 27 foot-pounds of torque. So I'm going to go to 25 foot-pounds of torque because that's in the middle of the two. And, all right, so we'll take our socket. Put that on there, and I'll grab my ratchet. And I'll show you how you do this. All right, I'm going to run this down softly and gently as possible. You know, I might have to loosen this side up a little bit, but we're going to take our time. We're going to do a good job. We're going to do a nice job. And when we're done, we'll torque it and be done. All right. All right, so that's run in as far as it could go. So now, let's torque it. 25 foot-pounds. And that's a lot of torque, so give me a minute, guys. Oh. The motor keeps turning on me. So, let's see. I have to put you down to torque these. So, here we go. Hopefully you can see this. You know what? Hold on. Alright, I got those torqued to 25 foot-pounds of torque. We got a fresh new gasket. Now, if you look at this gasket, there's a beveled edge on it, or the center is beveled up. And that's where you want that to go, is in the up position. And you're going to take our rocker box cover, which I'm not using the gloss ones, remember. So we're going to take all these happy parts out of here. Grab our matte black, wrinkle finish upper rocker box cover. Oh, that wire's in the way now. All right, here we go. That goes on just like that. And how do I try and line them up the best I can. And I grab a couple screws and I just start putting those in. And I forgot what the torque is on this. I did that in the other head and I forgot already. I was more preoccupied with remembering that rocker arm torque. And it doesn't matter where you take the screws from. They don't have to go back in the same exact holes on these Milwaukee 8s. So yeah, these have brand new gaskets that I'm taking off of this motor that are going in the garbage. The same thing with all the O-rings and seals. I have a new set of O-rings and seals for the next bike, well, for the other bike. Let's do this the easy way. There we go. Turn it upside down and they all fall out. All right. I'm thinking this is turning out to be quite the good looking motor with the gold. What do you guys think of the gold? Let me know in the comments down below if you like the gold or not. I do. I think it's awesome. So I do have the torque wrench still set. It's 120 inch-pounds. All right, so let me get this set up for my little impact driver. We'll just run them right in and then torque them. If you got any questions, let me know. Hopefully everybody has a good weekend. Hopefully everybody's going to get to Daytona. I hope to meet and see a lot of you guys down there in Daytona. I'm looking forward to going down. If you notice, I'm going in a sequence with foot tightening these down. So all right, now we can torque them. All righty. That's one. And I'm going to go in the same sequence. 2, 3, 4. And guys, you can do this on the bike. I've done it. It's a lot harder on the back head than it is the forward head. And look at that. Even though I was running them down, it still was quite loose, so. That's why we always go around after we torque them. Once I go around and recheck the torque. That was quite loose. All right, I got to change hands. Hopefully that doesn't drop. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to go back around. And I don't have to go into sequence now, because we're already torqued. We're just verifying our torque. See? That's why I verify it, because that one, even though I did torque it and got the click on it, it still wasn't ready. There goes another one. Alrighty, and that's it. I'll have to clean up my mess here, wipe down the motor, and the updates for the new motor for Project Spaceball is done. All right, guys, what do you think of our Project Spaceball motor? All right, guys, hey, if you like this video, you want to see more content like this, make sure you join the live when I'm doing the motor swap live here in the OR. Please click that like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a video. And until the next one, everybody, live the best life you can. Ride often and ride hard.
Like and subscribe to Dr. Harley.